Oh, we are going there today. We are going there, okay? Shut up, really. I don't know myself anymore. Hi guys, how's everyone doing? Today I'm reviewing Myths by Amouage. Really hard word to say. There are no vowels, people. If I say it in a London accent, it makes it easier. Myths, because it puts an I right in there. Myths. If you try and say myths, it's a lot. Anyway, let's review it. This is a Chypres fragrance that came out in 2016. It's one of their newer ones. They have made a couple of ones since this, Lilac Love, Blossom Love, and the newest one, which is Figment, which I haven't smelled yet. Drat. But it's the newest one I've smelled. So, let's talk about it. I feel I've got a lot to say about this one, guys. I usually do when it's Amouage fragrance, I really do, so I'll try to keep it brief. So this is a Chypres. I'd put this up there together with Interlude Woman as being probably the most controversially type, not difficult, but a bit whoa when you smell them fragrances. So I think it's pretty great. The first time I smelled it, I was really taken aback. I thought it was kind of disgusting, but now we've become friends, and now I know her. Hi. So this was inspired by surrealism. The advert confused me quite a bit. When I watched the actual advert for this fragrance, it was very mythical Chinese, lots of red and gold, ancient, myths. I understood the concept. I don't understand why it's a bright purple bottle with a ferociously green fragrance inside. So these are the notes. The top notes are narcissus, violet leaves and galbanum. The heart notes are carnation, patchouli and ambergris accord. And the base notes are leather, moss and musk. Okay, let's do this. I feel like this fragrance should come with a precursor. No, not a precursor, a pre-warning. If you're the type of person that's into sweet, fluffy, friendly fragrances, you might not like this. However, if you are a person that's into classic Chypres, hardcore Chypres, and oak moss mainly, this is going to be right up your alley because it's a nod to a very classic Chypres, but it's kind of been modernised a little bit. And I feel it fits right into Amouage's daring repertoire. Oh, I'm just full of words today. What's happened to me? Oh my gosh. So let's spray it on. I've worn it a few times. It's quite a lot. I mean, it really is a lot, guys. I mean, we're talking about Amouage here, so if you don't know them already, they're from Oman. They don't really make shy and retiring wallflower fragrances. They have a few in their line, but they're kind of known for their boldness, and this one I think is probably at the top of the scale. So when you first smell this, it can take you aback, believe me. It is green to abundance. I will say first of all about the way it smells, oak moss prevails throughout. And if you know me as a reviewer and if you followed me for a while, I usually have quite a lot to say about oak moss. Oak moss is the domineering note. It's foresty, it's dry, it's spiky, and it's the main note of a Chypres. This is quite, I'd put this on the more aggressive side of a Chypres. So like I said before, if you're not really into things like that, it might not be your bag. I don't know why it's purple, but at least I dressed up for the occasion. You know, I try. It's all about the content, right? So it's got this really kind of dry, mossy opening, and what they've managed to do here is create a multi-layered, green, faceted fragrance. So they've taken green elements from lots of different places that all smell different and smushed them together. So you have this dry, spiky, mossy main smell. Underneath I can smell galbanum, which I always say is kind of like if you crushed your finger against, or crushed a plant stem in your fingers. So you have a more kind of sweet, smoother green. I say it sometimes it smells a little bit like carrot peelings. It's kind of like a plant stemmy greenness. Then you have this peppery patchouli leaf in there as well. And then you've got violet leaf as well. So it's another leafy green element. But as far as I know, violet leaves are supposed to be a more metallic aqueous kind of green, leafy note. So it's layer upon layer upon layer upon layer of greenness all in one place. And the overall effect is, it smells like foliage. It smells like shrubbery. Oh, I love that word, shrubbery. Let's just rest on that for a moment. As you would expect from an Amouage, you have a lot of things coming at you at once. So the main feel of this, obviously, is this greenness. It's literally like taking a walk in nature. What comes along with this walk through nature is some of the more unpleasant naturalistic smells you can find in nature. So it does feel like there's something, like it's kind of so true to nature that it feels like there's something a little bit skankified in there, but only a little bit. But there is something, I guess you could call it ugly underneath, but I have to give it to them for making something that is way out there, and it's like a Chypres on steroids. It's so green and so aggressive that I've done a 180 where I'm like, I would never like something like that, but now I kind of do. What's happening to me? Just to make a quick comparison, if you smelled Bracken by them before, which by the way I will review soon, they're in a kind of similar territory. I feel like they're cousins, where Bracken gets all of its greenery from fern and it's got berries and things to make it a little bit prettier. This is like the older, uglier sister that, you know, that pulls no punches. And this is, you know, it's kind of like, I am green Chypres, hear me roar. I am rough, I am not scared to be rough, and I don't give a shit what you think. There is a kind of smoothness underneath, but the main feel of it is very rough and very in-your-face spikiness. Oak moss is the winner. There's carnation in here, which usually, if it's quite predominant, is a lovely spicy floral, and I do detect a kind of spiciness in here, but it really feels kind of like summer flowers. You know, if you had a vase full of dried summer flowers that had been there, or they've been baked in the sun a little bit, so you're getting a real kind of dusty, green kind of feeling. It's very strange. The greenness comes from everything that I said that's green, but the floral side of it comes from a very dusty, I guess it's daffodil, you know, it's narcissus. It's got that, it's like a spring, summery sort of flower that I think is very dry. Kind of, it smells a little bit like it's got hay in it or something. A lot. Guys, Amouage fragrances are intense. I need to take a break. This really is for people if you're daring enough to wear something so green and bold and ready to take a walk through a forest and have an onslaught of everything that nature can offer you. It's not, I wouldn't call this something that you would dress up in your best garb and go out feeling pretty. This is for walking your dogs in the park, or just feeling like a wood nymph. I don't know where I'm going with this, alright? I'm trying. Multi-layered greenness. It's green from every facet and every direction. So why the purple bottle? I don't know. I'm really getting a soft spot for it though. What's happening? I don't know myself anymore. So one thing I'll say about this is it's not really a morpher. A lot of the times with Amouage, because they're so incredibly complex, they do take you on a journey, and there is a definite transition from top notes to heart to base. This is quite a linear fragrance. I don't see a huge change apart from that, the aggressiveness of it, and aggressive sounds very, very negative, but I love aggressive fragrances. I mean, I really do. If you like the aggressive Chypres, try this one out. But it does kind of become a little bit more manageable, and it doesn't morph so much that it turns into an entirely different fragrance. It stays true to its character, and this is going to sound really generic and boring, but when it starts to dry, it does go to what I hate to call a perfumey place. So it does start to feel more like you're wearing a perfume as opposed to you've just sprayed 20 trees on your skin. It's also not the most giant projector from Amouage, because I have some that are just monstrous really, and I think because of the way this smells, I think that fits in a way. I don't think I personally would like to smell the way it smells when it first starts strong for a very long time. I'm glad that it does kind of start to behave and get whipped into shape by my skin. Oak moss prevails, I said that before, and that's going to be the note that carries this entire fragrance all the way through. I mean, when you think about it realistically, oak moss is usually a base note, but you can smell it on every single level in this fragrance, so it is the star of the show. The longevity on this isn't super massive either, which is kind of unusual for Amouages. You know, they are kind of hit and miss sometimes. This one I get probably about 5 hours out of, but you know, test it on your own skin first. Always a general rule of thumb. This is just my humble opinion. You're always left with whispers of spiky oak moss, and yeah, it feels like a lot of the other notes, like the leather and things like that, they're there as just a kind of slight enhancement where they're not a prevailing note. So this is all about the trees and Mother Nature. So anyway, I got my lovely sample from latino.co.uk and or.com. They sell it over there, they sell the fragrance there. Go and test it out. Thanks, Latino. Oh, that was a mistake. I'm gonna smell like pond. They sell it over there. I'll post links below so you can go and check it out. I mean, gorgeous bottle. Really like it. Very, very daring fragrance. I've never smelled many things like this, and I've smelled a lot of Chypres in my time. This is kind of like a classic Chypre, but with tons of bells on, and more trees, and with moss growing on it, and with a pond nearby, and crushed plants everywhere. That's it. And much on my know, click my logo down there to subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon for another review. Love you guys. Bye.